All right, I'm starting this over again. Woo woo! Yay, how exciting! Anyways, so I had to start this over again because I was trying to screen record some stuff on Netflix, and it wasn't letting me screen record. And for obvious reasons, I mean, Netflix, why would they want us to screen record a whole movie? Oh boy. So sorry for the noise in the back, but anyways, so like I said, the episodes that we are going to be talking about is Black Mirror, the entire history of you, and Nosedive. So these are both episodes in Black Mirror, and I'm not gonna get like too much into detail of each of them, but I'm going to explain how both of these. I'm like gonna explain what these both have in common, because obviously just by looking at them they look very different. And yeah, I'm not going to be able to incorporate the scenes that I feel like are necessary, and that will be good to explain. The entire history of you is about a couple, but the main characters are the couple, which is this lady right here and this man right here. But what is what it's mainly like around is they have these things in their heads. They are called grains. So right here you're gonna see these are the grains that are implanted in their head, as you can see in the diagram. And this is a visual of what the person sees and what they can control of what they see. And so everybody in the movie has one of these except for one person, because she got hers ripped out of her head. And so this timeline, I would say, would obviously be in like the far future, where the government has already discovered how to implant these little grains in our heads that basically remember everything from I'd say the time that you're born to basically when you're like in the present time. And so the main like focus on in this movie is basically how I would say the grain like destroys people. The main characters, like I said, is this young man and this young woman. And so it involves around how I would say the grain ruins their lives. And the reason being is because this man, because in I would say a normal like presently now, this situation would have been handled like a very different way than it was handled in this moment. So what basically happened was this man, which is her husband or boyfriend, started assuming that this man and this girl started like um, flirting and was just acting very different around each other, and he started to notice it. And what kind of like I'd say the grain ruins people's lives in this scenario, because it could be seen as like a good thing and a bad thing, because the boyfriend, I guess, starts to notice that this his girlfriend and this man start acting different around each other, more than friendly than you should act around. And this ends up making him very I'd say like not self-conscious, but like very aware. And so one he would always be gets like really fed up, and he starts to believe that black these two have a very long history together, but she doesn't want to tell him anything. So he demands to see her every single interaction that she's had with him. And so when they pull up their like their view, I don't know how to say it, but like what they see through their eyes, they have a little remote that they can control. And they make this like weird staring, like if you see right here how he's making a weird face, that means that he's looking through this lens right here, and he's trying to like figure out like what he sees in like chapters. And there'll be like, it says from album, and I would like say that this is like chapters, I would say. and just like moments in their lives. And so she tried to delete the she tried to delete it really fast so that he couldn't see it, because when she bring it up, then it's up and it's just there and they can both see it. But eventually he like yelled at her and like told her not to. And um he ended up looking how they like, you know, did the nasties together, and it was in their bedroom because he saw her point of view and like how she saw it, and he was in their bed. And so at the end of the episode, he was like super sad. Obviously I would be too. He was super sad, and he ended up right here in the episode, he ended up getting a razor and cutting out the grain that was inside of his head, because he realized that it was just ruining his life, because he got so caught up into replaying his and hers interactions that he would see with his eyes. So that's the main like idea of the entire history of you, is around a couple, but basically it's based upon this grain that was engraved in their heads. Now we're gonna go to Nosedive. So Nosedive is this lady right here. She's the main character of Nosedive, and this is like, this is way in the future also. So as you see how she has, so when you pull up Nosedive, it shows like this like little like screen right here, and it's a phone, or it's supposed to be a phone, and and as you can see, it says your rating 4.4, 29, and it shows the stars. So basically what that means is that her rating is a 4.4. Like, this is all based around like a rating. Like, let's say like it's just like an Amazon rating. Like, you get something and then you rate the product. She's basically the product, and this is how it works. So like as you can see right here, it says Lacey and 4.2. Like, she, so in the story there's different types of like so the way that I can explain it is like, I'd say like poor, middle class, and high class. So if you're below, I'd say a 3.0, I'd say you're poor. And then if you're below a 4.5, then you're middle class. But once you're above a 4.5, then you're high class. And this is how in their world they see it. So wherever they go, they rate somebody. So like wherever they go, they have to rate somebody. So she went to this cafe in the morning, and as you can see, it says Jack 3.797, and it shows his picture right here, and she swipes how many stars she wants to give him, and then in like, that's I guess how they pay for things, and then in return he gives her a rating also. And it depends like how, like, it just depends on how good of a person you are. So like, you just do this with anybody in the street. Like, you can wave at somebody and be like, oh, that was nice, I'm gonna give them a 2 point rating. So, and these people also take offense to what they get rated. So like, let's say she didn't give Jack like a 3.0 or whatever, and she gave him a 2.0, it would have made him like upset and given her a lower score, which would have caused her overall rating to go down. And so basically what happens to this lady is that she tries to start a better life for herself, and the only way she could do that is if she gets a 4.5 and higher, because she wants to move out of the house with her brother. And in order to buy a house or get a good discount on a house is if you're a 4.5 and higher. But she was only a 4.3, as you saw. And so what happened was she had an old friend that, well, it was basically an old bully friend. So anyways, as you can see, she's FaceTiming her best friend from her childhood, and she's telling her that she got engaged and she's trying to be excited. And so basically this woman right here, she lives like a lavish life according to her, but she has, I think, a 5.1 rating, because she's surrounded by people who are above a 4.5, and she's not really surrounded by people who are above a 4.5, more like a 4.0 and like below. And she's trying to get a 4.5 or higher so that she could get a good discount on the house that she wants, so she could start her new life. And this woman invites her to speak at her wedding, because they were longtime kids friends, even though they hadn't talked in like years. And so she was really excited to go, and do a speech because she was going to be surrounded by 4.5 and higher people, and they were going to give her a good rating, which will make her rating go super high. And that's all she cared about throughout the whole entire movie, was being able to make it to that wedding, which was really far from where she lived. It was like, I don't remember exactly where, but I know that it was pretty far. And so she ended up like running into a bunch of like obstacles in their way over there to get to the wedding, and she ended up having like car troubles, and then she had to get a ride from this lady who was a truck driver who used to be just like her, worried about what people think and how what the ratings were and what they meant. That's not what it's all about, is the ratings. Like, it's gonna ruin everybody's lives like how it ruined hers. And so finally she came to the senses that she was done like caring what other people thought. So she went to the wedding, and after she went to the wedding after her friend uninvited her for being from dropping down from a 4.3 to a 2.1 because of all the obstacles that she went through. Everybody was giving her such bad ratings because she wasn't a good person. So after she got uninvited, she still went to the wedding and still tried to give a speech. As you can see right here, she is a hot mess. Look at that. She is such a hot mess. I think that's a knife. I don't remember. But she was a hot mess trying to give out a speech. And that's when her ratings went even more down. They declined. And then she finally, as you can see in this scene, she was in jail. And this man and this woman, or the main character and this man, started yelling at each other. But that was basically the end. But the two main things that both of these episodes have in common is technology, and these are both in the future. Obviously not present of today because we don't have grains engraved inside of our heads, and we're not at the point where we rate people. But I feel like at the rate that we're going, we're gonna be somewhere like somewhere related to these episodes. But I hope not. But yeah, I wasn't able to get any clips from Netflix because every time I would press my screen record, it would just go black, and it makes sense. I mean, they don't want us to screen record, but yeah.